And hello there, CP Finite. Welcome to lesson 3.4. We are now going to be applying matrices to your favorite word problems. I promise they won't be too bad. We are going to be solving things like systems of three variables, but now you know that RREF method, and they'll be easy peasy, as long as you can set them up right. So, local Girl Scouts selling combination boxes, 3 types of cookies, Tagalongs, Do-si-dos, and Thin Mints. They're selling them in small, medium, and large gift boxes. So we have some information here. We know a small box is 1 dozen Tagalongs, dozen Do-si-dos, medium 2, 1, and 1, and large 2, 2, and 3. So we want to buy exactly 15 dozen Tagalongs, 10 Do-si-dos, and 11 dozen Thin Mints. So what size of each box should you buy? So with word problems, again, I mentioned in the past, is it's always important to notice what you're solving for. And that is going to be the types of boxes. So it can be confusing. Do I let X, Y, and Z be tagalongs and so forth? But no, we're going to let X or S be small, or X be small. We'll let X be small, since it says so. Y is going to be medium, and Z will be large. Okay? Those are going to be the columns of the matrix that will start to set up. Now, let's just think about what we got going on here. So, as we develop this problem here, we want to break up our small, medium, and larges here. Small, medium, large are going to be the columns, so to speak, of our matrix. And we're going to have an equal to column. And on the other side, we are going to have the types of cookies. So we're going to have Tagalongs, Do-si-dos, and Thin Mints. And then it's just kind of filling everything in. So again, make sure that our variables are the columns, and then we're going to have an equal to column. It's all going to be one matrix though. So within a small box, Tagalongs, there are 1. There are 1 dozen Do-si-dos, and it doesn't say anything about Thin Mints, so 1, 1, 0. For the medium box, there are 2 dozen Tagalongs, 1 dozen Do-si-dos, and 1 dozen Thin Mints. So see how I'm filling this information in, and it's kind of different in that I'm going down, but I'm kind of filling in what each of these are. Our large box contains 2 dozen Tagalongs, 2 dozen Do-si-dos, and 3 dozen Thin Mints. Now in the equal to column, that's going to be the information. So Tagalongs, I want 15 dozen, so I want that to be in the Tagalong row. So 15. Do-si-dos, I want that to be 10. So I just put 10 there. And Thin Mints, I want that to be 11. So there's our matrix. In a sense, you did create a system of equations, but it can also be helpful to look at this through a matrix lens. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to RREF that matrix, and that should give us our solution. So into matrix world we go. If my calculator turns on, there it is. Into matrix, over to edit. If you have another matrix in there, just re-edit it. I need a 3x4. And I'm just going to type in our matrix here. 1, 2, 2, 15. 1, 1, 2, and 10. 0, 1, 3, 11. Leave the matrix. Enter the matrix. Use the RREF operation. And call out matrix A. Let it work its magic. And there we go. Essentially, what we just have is now the solution. So this 1, 0, 0, 1, remember, that means that 1x is equal to 1. The next row is 1y is equal to 5. And the last row, 1z is equal to 2, which means our solution is 1 box, that's small, 5 medium, so that's y, and 2 large. So that is solving, in a nutshell, using a matrix. Okay, so again, it's getting used to what this matrix on the left, the 1, 0, 0, 1, and everything represents. And that's a 2. Okay, a little funky, but we'll do some more problems here setting everything up. Arnold Schwarzenegger decided to bulk up before a bodybuilding contest by supplementing his weekly diet with additional macros. Those of you that are watching macros or in sports someday, or already are, you might do something similar to this. So he wishes to consume 330 grams of protein, fiber, and grams of fat. Gives us information about a hamburger, cheeseburger, and a sloppy Joe. So how many of each should he eat this week to meet his goal? Now, again, how many of each meal? So that means that meals are going to be our headings. So we're looking at hamburger. We're looking at cheeseburger. And we're looking at sloppy joes. And again, the goal or the equal to. Now, our macros, protein, fiber, and fat will be what's in each meal. So ham, so we're setting up our equations or our system. A hamburger, 20 grams of protein, 10 grams of fiber, and 5 grams of fat. So there's our first column. Cheeseburger, 25, 10, and 5. And sloppy Joe, 20, 15, and 10. And then what are his goals? His goals were 330 grams of protein, 190 grams of fiber, and 110 grams of fat. So there's the matrix. Once you have it solved or set up, you can solve it. So back into matrix world, over to edit, 3 by 4. That's what they'll usually be with these cases. 20, 10, not 10, 25, sorry. 20, 25, 20, and 330. Be careful typing things in the matrix, as I almost made a mistake there. And 5, 5, 10, 110. Now, you could, back in the day, solve these using algebra, but we'll just use good old RREF. So the RREF matrix reveals that we need 1 x is equal to 8. Again, 1y is going to be equal to 2. And 1z is equal to 6, meaning that x, which is hamburgers, so I did not label those, but hopefully you got the idea. So 1x is 8, so that means we need 8 hamburgers, 2 cheeseburgers, and 6 sloppy joes. Boom, boom, boom. So again, be careful setting up the matrices and solving those. You should be okay. The next problem. So just a lot of different examples here. And this one has a little curveball in it with some of our information. So one day at the Krusty Krab, SpongeBob kept track of all the orders he took. He decides to challenge Squidward's intellect by giving him a mathematical problem to find how many single Krabby Patties, doubles, and triples he made. Now we have single patties cost 99 cents. We have some cost. We know that 353 total orders were made. And we know that 60 more sales of double patties than single were made. Let's begin by thinking of this mathematically. How many of each patty was made? We'll let x be single, y be double, and z be our triple patties. Before we jump right into a matrix, let's think algebraically how we could set this up. So back in the day, we would set up an equation for the money. So I know that 0.99x plus 199y plus 275z has to equal the 69835. Okay, so all of the money goes into one equation. I got all that information from there. The next equation deals with the number of orders. So between all three things, there were 353 orders. And this last little bit, 60 more sales of double patties than single. That one can be interesting. So double patties, there were more of them. So if we add 60 to the single patties, we get the number of double patties. So that is oftentimes an equation that confuses people. A lot of times they would want to put 60 plus y, but we want more double patties, so we're going to add 60 to the single variable. Now, this is not quite ready to set up in a matrix. We are going to do that, and it's not going to be too bad for the first two rows. It's just going to be 0.99, 1.99, 2.75, and 69835, 1, 1, 1, and 353. Now this last one, we need to fix it. Remember, we want all of our variables in equal to's lined up. So we just need to rearrange this so that x and y are on the same side and 60 is on the other. So some pretty basic algebra here. Rearrange it by subtracting the y and subtracting the 60. Now we don't have a z, which is okay, but this equation we can plug into the matrix. So 1, negative 1, there's no z, and negative 60. So that is a little curveball there. If you don't have a variable involved, you just substitute a 0 in. So be wary of that. Now with that matrix, we can then edit and solve lickety-split with our RREF. Let's be careful with decimals. Uh, 698 and 0.35. And 1, negative 1, 0, and negative 60. Okay, I'm going to leave the matrix. We're going to do RREF. And there we have it. So the matrix reveals that single, or 1x, is going to be 90. Double is equal to 150. And triple is going to be 113. So the hardest thing now is setting up the equations, transferring that to a matrix, and solving. So definitely practice through these. Last example here. So lots of examples for you to look through. Game of Thrones episodes, New Girls, and Star Wars Rebels. Some of my favorites out there. After recording, I have a total of 697 minutes. Okay, 16 episodes recorded. And the number of Game of Thrones was double that of New Girls. So that's going to be our challenging equation here. This is the number, and this is going to be time. So we have 3 equations that we should make first. 697 minutes. So let's break up all of our times here. So what I know is that a Game of Thrones is 72 minutes. So 72 for Game of Thrones, we'll put G, plus 30 New Girl, we'll put N, plus 25 Star Wars, we'll make S, and I know that needs to equal 697. Total of 16 episodes just means that Game of Thrones plus New Girls plus Star Wars equals 16. And double Game of Thrones than New Girl. So which one do I have more of? That's Game of Thrones, which means I need to double the number of New Girls to equal Game of Thrones. So 2 times the episodes of New Girl equals Game of Thrones. So again, that can be tricky, and a lot of times if you make mistakes, it's going to be in that last equation. So if you make mistakes, just look back and kind of filter through those. Now, in order to set up our equation, I'm going to need to subtract G to get it on the same side, and that just means this equation would be negative G plus 2N plus 0 equals 0. Don't be afraid. I know it looks funky, but that is going to be the equation for our matrix. So matrix, we're just going to plug all these in, the red, the green, and the blue. 72, 30, 25, and 697, 1, 1, 1, 16. And our funky one, negative 1, 2, 0, 0. Plug that on into matrix world. And we're almost done here. 72, 30. But hey, at least the solving part's easy. Now that you know the trick, it's just setting it up and going from there. Whoops. Made a slight mistake. Again, be careful in the matrices. And negative 1. Second quit. RREF. And bada bing. Game of Thrones, which is X, is 6 episodes. New Girl is 3 episodes. And Star Wars Rebels is 7 episodes. It's always a good idea to check. Does it make sense as to what they told us? Double the amount of Game of Thrones. Notice how Game of Thrones is 6, New Girl is 3. Well, Game of Thrones there were more of. So again, be careful with some of those. Practice them for sure. And look back to this video for some help. Reach out to me if you need it as well. Good stuff, everybody. Have a great day.